The things that we saw that were different for us from our first spring, just the amount of knowledge and experience that we really have retained in our first year. When we stepped on the field this spring, it was really like going right back to week 11 for our program last year. We thought our guys really retained everything we did. It was almost like being on the field of the Butler week. And that was extremely exciting for us because you never know what's going to be retained from season to season. And so getting into spring ball, getting back in the flow, it felt normal. It felt something we've been doing for quite some time. So I think for our staff, that was great to see our guys just kind of get right back into it. Yeah, the number one goal for us heading into spring football was to really develop our depth throughout our roster. We talked about that a lot last spring. We talked about it during the season, and now getting to our second spring, I thought the important part is getting, our first recruiting class, that meaningful playing experience during spring season, that maybe they didn't get that opportunity in the fall because when you arrive as a first year, it's just, it's one thing after another. You're constantly playing catch up. So to be able to slow the process down for them, I thought was huge. And it allowed us to create that depth we needed as we head into year two for this. Yeah, the important part about our Butler win in the season was taking that momentum, all that positive energy into our off-season, our winter workouts. Football in its purest form is work. A lot of hours spent in that weight room, a lot more hours in the weight room than actually playing the game of football. And so, that extra momentum and energy that we gained that last play of the season to put us over the top for that winning record for the first time in a decade was huge. You felt that all off season with our guys working. You felt it in spring practice, that momentum, that energy, that sense of confidence that you want to see out of your team. We learned a couple things. I think the first thing we learned that they're a determined group. We talked about it a lot, the successes we had in year one, but we looked a lot at some of the areas that we just missed on. And how were we going to get over the hump to maybe finish some of those opportunities we didn't finish last year? And you could see the leadership in our group really come alive when we began to talk about that. And so, that's a driving force for us. How do we get better? How do we take that next step? And I saw a team this spring that was ready to take that next step, that wants to take that next step. The second thing I learned, I think we run well. I thought we ran well last year, but now we get into year two. I just think that, as guys settle into their roles, I think overall our team speed is really good, and I'm excited to see that play out in the fall. Yeah, there's a couple really pleasant surprises that came out of spring. First, we'll start on the offensive side. It was a spring where we need to rebuild our offensive line. It's on the offensive side in that unit, the only really losses we have coming into 2019 were up front. And so that was a question mark. And what a great spring our young offensive line had. A ton of credit to Coach Munch and what he's done developing that group. And, they're a young group. As we finish up spring, there was a couple freshmen, which will be sophomores in the fall, and a couple sophomores. We're not very old. We'll be young. We'll rely on Ethan Steinbacher, who's really one of our only returning full-time starters, and he'll be a senior. So we'll rely heavily on his leadership. But we thought they took some great steps towards the unit that we need to be. On the defensive side, we had actually had some position changes, just trying to create some more depth on that side. And one of them was in our secondary. We had some guys who made that transition to DB from the offensive side, and Nick Baker and Jalen Bolden. And we thought they had fantastic springs, getting their feet wet at corner, getting comfortable. And Tyler Solomon moved from tight end to defensive end. And, seeing those guys make that transition, you're never sure how it's going to go. And I thought they went extremely smooth for those guys, and really credit to that staff. And so to see kind of they take a initiative over making that change for the betterment of the program is huge, right? And then to watch our defense grow. We were a young defense last year, a lot of first years running around, and to watch them take that next step forward this spring. And I think everybody saw it in the spring game, the way they flew around, their energy, their confidence. And so I'm excited for that unit, and looking forward to what they're going to grow and how they're going to grow come fall. Well, looking back from 2018 spring game till now, the biggest things that jump off is our depth. Something we wanted to see happen. And as I evaluate our spring game from top to bottom, I thought we had a lot of guys competing, throughout the entire game, and that was great for us to see. I think we're becoming a complete team and a complete program, and that's what we'll take into the fall. We're not just a run dominant option program. We're a complete team, and I look forward to putting that group on the field come September. Sure, defensively on the defensive side, Bryce Perry Martin, George Talowich, Tony Collins, yeah. So those three give us a ton of leadership on defense. There are three seniors. Three young men that have a ton of playing experience. Really couldn't be more excited. What great choices. And offensively, Tyler Phelps, who's a returning captain, is really the only junior of the whole group. Darrell Story, who's a returning captain, a senior, and Hunter Louthan, first-year captain, but a senior. Just a ton of experience when you start listing all those guys, right? And some great character guys, great motivators. Between the six of them, they have every attribute you need to have great leadership in your team. And I think we're very fortunate to have them. I'm excited for our group, and I think our team could not have picked six better men to lead us.